Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Goldberg, here to talk to you about issues with attention deficit disorder. And a very common problem that I'm often asked to help resolve is the problems with organization, forgetting things, the sloppy notebooks, being late all the time. Um, and sometimes medication doesn't help that. And sometimes these things tend to occur when the medication is not in the body. And what do you do then? I think organization can be taught. I think that we need to give them tricks. Remember the old, in the old movies, the guy tied a string around his finger to remember to put the money in the bank. I think it's a Good Life with Jimmy Stewart, if I recall. And well, that didn't work in that movie, but sometimes little tricks like that do work, and you work with a child in problem solving, how he can get to a place on time, or how can he remember something, and increasing the motivation. It's something that I want to repeat again and again. Most symptoms of attention deficit disorder disappear or become much less significant when they're highly motivated. And so a very trick I often use in terms of, let's say, getting out in the morning and getting the teeth brushed and the hair brushed and eating breakfast and the notebook ready, is to play a game called Beat the Clock in the morning, where you actually have two alarm clocks and give the child the responsibility to getting out by the time the alarm clocks ring, with everything being done, check off, doop doop doop, and he gets a prize. He gets a reward for beating the clock. And so you have two alarm clocks, because let's say he has to be out of the house by 7:30. You set the first alarm clock by 7:20, and let's say he gets 5 points for making the first alarm clock, plus he has 10 minutes to watch TV or play or do something else, because everything else is done and ready. And you set the second clock at 7:25, so that he gets only 2 points for beating the clock at the second ring. He has less time for himself, and I find that works really well, instead of the nagging and everything else. In terms of being on time, using watches and using modern technology of alarms and things like that, when they're in front of the computer, very often there are fights about, I told you to get off the computer 100 times, why didn't you listen, blah, blah, blah. Give them warnings. They have, one of the few proven differences between kids with attention deficit disorder and and kids who don't have it is they have a very poor warped sense of time. And 5 minutes to them is like 10 hours, where it's very hard for them to estimate time. So it's helpful to give them warnings. You got 10 minutes left, you got 5 minutes left, you got 2 minutes left, you got 1 minute left. And it's very helpful. They can organize themselves to finish what they need to do without having you to disrupt them and starting a whole temper tantrum that you stopped me in the middle of a game or whatever.